Okay, before we move on, let's see this multiple choice question. Which one is the main purpose of a function? So take a look. Well, the answer is B. And let's go through all the choices. So A is to improve the speed of execution. This is not true because it doesn't really matter you copy and paste a piece of code several times or you put them into function calls. So remember for the toss coin function, we can do that with 3 function calls. But even though we are making 3 function calls, for each function call, we are going to go back to the function and then we are going to execute the body of the function. So the same amount of the lines will be executed, well, no matter we are using function calls or not. So making function calls won't actually save us too much any time. And even worse, making function calls, well, will add extra cost to the Python interpreter. So actually, when you are making function calls, and then your code will be slow just a little bit. Okay, so A is not true. And B, to help the programmers organize the programs to chunks, that is definitely true, right? Well, remember in last video, I'm showing you example about a kind of larger system. Well, and you see when we are organizing the code into several pieces of the chunks of the code, and then it makes the designing of the program a little bit easier. And then, well, this will match how they think about the solution of the problem. So we can design the problem, design the solution of the problem from the high level, and then we decide there should be several pieces, and then we solve each piece at one time. So B is definitely correct. And for C, all Python programs must be written using functions. Is that true? No, that's not, right? Well, remember when we do the easiest code, like a equals 1 plus 2. Can you do that? Well, like here, if we just want, let me delete everything, and then I want to do a equals 1 plus 2, right? So this is the easiest piece of the code in Python. And did I use function? No, right? So this is definitely okay that we don't use any function in Python. So if you're talking about Java, for example, and this story might be different. And for D, to calculate values, we can use functions to calculate values. That's possible, but doing functions, we can do much more than calculating values. So B is the correct answer. Okay, so let's move on and talk about 2 other concepts. The first concept I want to talk about is abstraction. So for the abstraction, it means that we don't need to know how a projector works to use it, right? So we use projectors or we use cell phones, but for those technologies, that is just a technology in a black box. So we only know the user interface. For example, if you are using a cell phone and then the user interface should be your touch screen. And then if you're talking about a projector, and then we may have a remote controller of a projector. So those will be considered as a user interface. Well, whatever inside that black box, we don't know that. Well, but as long as we know the user interface, we should be able to make use of that, right? So this is the idea of a black box. We don't need to look into the black box to figure out all the technologies behind the scene. Well, as long as we have the black box and then we know what is the input and what is the expected output, and then we're in good shape, right? And talking about functions, that's the same thing. So if I give you a function, well, you don't have to know everything behind the scene. As long as you know what is the input and what is the expected output, and probably you should be able to use this function. And actually, we have already have several examples. For example, like the input. Well, you know by doing the input, and then you need to send in a parameter which is a prompt. And then what is the expected output? the expected output is whatever the user types from the keyboard, and then it will be taken as a string, right? So the input is a prompt and the output will be a string. And then as long as you have this knowledge, you can make use of the input. And how the input function is really implemented behind the scene, probably we don't have to worry about that too much. Okay, and the second part is we have this concept we have already talked about, that is the decomposition. Well, and this is not this is the image from of a huge giant screen in the Olympic Games. Well, and if you look closer, and you will see that this is not just a huge screen. Well, it is probably hundreds or thousands of the smaller screens. Well, and for the decomposition, the idea works on this huge screen is, well, it will decompose a huge image, one frame of a huge image, into many smaller pieces, and for each smaller screen it will only handle one piece of the image of that frame. And then as long as all the small pieces, all the smaller monitors, they all work well, and then we have one frame of the image displayed on the screen, right? So for the decomposition in the computer science, in the computer science term, it works kind of the same way.